Hey, NAF Nation, how are you? I want to thank Thomas and Antoinette. They're great examples of great leadership, and what it takes to actually do this work is not a small thing. But I want to tell you a little story, and it's, please focus on our theme, Imagine the Future. Now, I'm going to tell a little bit of a story in an intro here, but it will also say something about my age, which I'm not fond of talking about. But as you think about the future, I'm a person who grew up with a great love for Star Trek. So anybody else share that? I know there are people in the room who will go, what? What's that? Because I always had this image, right, when I was a young thing and was a counselor, and I was caring and knowing how important education in the workplace was and getting kids connected and how powerful and how cool it would be if we only had a holodeck, right? If we could only, like, in our classroom, create a holodeck and say, hey, you want to be a veterinarian? Step right over here, right? And they could experience, they could feel it, they could get an imagination of what that would be like before they made life-altering decisions about their future. And there wasn't a holodeck. But I had a great privilege of taking a trip a little over a year ago down to Miami-Dade. Anybody from Miami here? Usually with a lot of shiny lights going on somewhere. And we took a trip to Magic in the local community college to give me a sense of some of the technology that they were embarking on and some of the great associate degree programs that they were building around how technology is fundamentally changing everything we do. And in that process, I got so excited about how we could take that reality, that augmented reality, my vision of a holodeck for NAF, and we could bring it to NAF Next. So I came back to New York and I sat down with staff. I said, you would not believe what I saw in Miami. Magic is awesome. We need to put this on NAF Next 2017. And as some of you can relate when this happens to you, I had a whole bunch of staff look at me like deer in the headlights. A little bit of the, no, we have 2 months. No, you can't do it. But to their credit and to the great advancements of Magic, we've brought it to you today. So somewhere here is supposed to be my augmented reality. Oh, you stole it!
Here you go.
Okay, open it up. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. Ready? Are we ready? Okay, go with me here. Awesome!
Hi, JD. It's a pleasure to be here with you at NAF Next 2018. My name is J2D2. Let's start by setting base to get you oriented. How about we travel to the moon?
Okay, awesome. The moon. Awesome. Cool. Add astronaut to my resume.
From here we are going to visit a few NAF Academies using our immersive portal. Which school would you like to visit first?
Let's go to Braddock.
Perfect. Let's go there.
Hi JD, this is
Hey!
Braddock Senior High, and this is NAF Academy of Information Technology. And now we're going to go to one of our NAF classes.
Do you think they are expecting us?
You betcha. Hey guys!
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
Let's go to another class.
G. Holmes Braddock Senior High School Academy of Information Technology in Miami is one of NAF distinguished academies. Hello, everyone.
Well, JD is here in our digital information technology class. Hi, JD.
Hey, how are ya?
JD, it was a pleasure to have you virtually out here at our school, G. Holmes Braddock Senior High School in Miami, Florida. Thank you for visiting.
Now, let us go to one of our schools here in Washington, D.C.
Hey!
Good morning, JD. My name is Nikita Cooley, and I'm a STEM student at HD Woodson, and I am focused on informational technology. Today we are having interviews. Let's go see them.
All right, love that smile.
I believe we are going to the library. What a beautiful building.
Hey, good morning, JD.
Hey. Hey
This
guys.
school has two NAF Academies, the Academy of Engineering and the Academy of Information Technology. Let's go to Halia Gardens Senior High School in Miami, Florida. I believe this is their agriculture lab. This school is the first in the NAF network to have all 5 of its NAF academies reach distinguished level. Everyone seems concentrated in their task. Let us not disturb them. JD, what do you think about the schools we visited today?
It's awesome.
It was great to share this visit with you. I think you have more information to share with our attendees.
Thank
Let
you.
me pick this all up before I go.
Okay, great. Thank you, R2. J2, D2. So it's not far away.
Everybody, and welcome to NAF Next 2018.
You're gonna take the stage, are you? Okay. Awesome. So it's not far away, right? The future is right here. And I think that's just an example of how far the industry, but also the opportunities exist in front of us, and more importantly, in front of our kids. So as I thought about our idea of imagine the future, and I, of course, went to my place of imagine what's possible, I also wanted to think a little bit about the context that we all are living in our country, in our communities, in our world. And I have to say that we have some challenging issues that we are living with every single day. We have a new level of divisiveness in our rhetoric and in our conversations. And we have our future generation of young people immersed in trying to imagine opportunity with optimism and with hope. And most of what they see and too much of what they hear is quite the contrary. So as I talk about my ambition and my excitement, I want us to remember the context that all of our excitement sits in. Because in this few days and in our conference, which I adore, NAF Next experiences, I do feel like we're in a bubble. We're in a bubble that if we could only take this and move it out across the country, opportunity would be profound. And I believe that at the end of the day, education is the answer to that question. And I fundamentally believe with technology and with the workforce and the changes to offer that opportunity to every young person will require many more than are in this room, but the answer to those solutions rests with the young people that are working with us every day. And our solutions and our opportunities will be tied to the degree to which we listen, and we help them feel empowered to share their stories, communicate with voice, opportunities. If you look at all of the movements that we've talked about, all the hashtags, there is a consistent voice from young people about possibility, about opportunity, about access, about equity, that can cut through the chatter of politics that are divisive and hurtful to people. But we have to help young people take the stage, have the voice, and have their back when they step up and really define what their future needs to look like. You, all of you in this room, have the remarkable opportunity of seeing that emerging future every single day. So how we as an organization, as a network, can help you feel somewhat insulated from the negative bombarding messages about not good enough is important. And I hope that NAF Next and the conference breakout sessions and the focus on what's possible is something that takes away some of that pain, some of that angst, and gives you a renewed sense of hope and opportunity, as well as a sense of camaraderie and connectedness to others who imagine a brighter future for all. It is connecting with each other that will keep us strong and move the optimum forward, not the divisive, negative rhetoric that suggests that we are not a great nation, because in fact, we very much are. So, the putting forth youth voice when you represent 1,000 young people feels like an impossibility. But thanks to your great work, I'm proud to announce that this year we've exceeded 100,000 young people in the NAF network. Of course, that was a goal for 2020. It is now 2018. We exceeded the goal, so our chairman promptly moved the bar to 1 million. Which is the way great people think, and I think that he's right. If we can do 100,000 2 years early, then we can do 1 million over time. And with the technology we just talked about, the opportunities are endless to think about, not an academy at a time, a school at a time, a district at a time. Imagine if we could use social networking for good, augmented reality opportunities for young people, and, as you know, our great ambition around my NAF track, because we've all experienced that frustration of knowing that student graduated and went on to college, and then what happened? Some of you may know because you built relationships with that young person and they keep you connected. But as a system, as a messaging entity, we have very little information. Though we're better than we were, we're not good enough. So part of the great ambition around my NAF track that was announced on, if not this stage, a NAF next stage, by John Hinshaw with Hewlett-Packard at the time, Nikki Palmer from Verizon, was this creation of a credential. That if we could only build a platform and a system to support what students know and can do, validated by both education, leaders, curriculum, testing, assessments, and the workplace, a paid internship with a real evaluation, and they graduate from high school, we should offer them a credential that should have meaning, not just a badge. Meaning in that they would get support into college, they could get advanced coaching, they could get mentorship, they might even get more salary when they get an entry-level job with those founding companies. So it is with great thanks to all of you that I say that in 2016, when we had that conversation, we had a big 200 young people signed up. Well, it's 2018, and thanks to you, we now have, and growing, over 1,700 students signed up on my NAF track. So give yourselves a hand. It's a beginning. It's a beginning. And I think it will explode as you begin to imagine our struggle, once again with technology as our solution, how we were going to cobble together something that used to be student level records and FERPA and privacy laws, issues associated with expiring data sharing agreements with districts. I mean, those are big obstacles in your way. But if you could blow through all the reasons why you can't do it and get to the opportunity of what young people could have as something they controlled. They were already out of high school. They could already stay connected with their schools. They could stay connected. They could give back. They could partner with companies. And HR leaders from those companies could stay connected to them as part of a future pipeline. Then it's a more doable solution, but you still need technology. And through the great work of our board of directors, and a great leader with SAP, Jen Morgan, who's on our board of directors, SAP has fully leaned in as a company and partnered with us to create what you will see later this few days, a platform that's going to do just that. We are going to have a technology platform that is, as I like to say, simple and elegant, that can deliver on the promise that you've, just on good faith, tried to play with us and reach 1,700 kids. We need to get at 10, 20,000, 200,000. We need to move this rapidly, but it will take the kind of technology and a company as big as SAP to help us do it. And what's powerful about the selection of SAP from my perspective is, you know what? Part of what companies say, JD, I love this idea, but our HR folks, they already have their stuff. They don't want to take on a new thing that they have to learn. Well, guess what? SAP works with hundreds of companies, if not thousands, HR leaders already. So it will be a tool already known by the hiring entities that we want our young people to have a door open for. So we're very excited about the possibility. Thomas mentioned the incredible opportunities that we think will emerge from the advisory board convening, because at the end of the day, as Bob Doogie on our board of directors says often, they are your ultimate sales force. So as you, this is famous, right? Drop your cards, don't know what you're going to say. I have a story about that. It's a powerful tool. If I hear anything from all of you all the time is that we can do everything you've asked, JD, we know it matters, but we haven't figured out the 100% paid internship piece. We're not built for it. It's not, we don't have jobs. Now, some of you have figured that out. You've actually hired work-based learning coordinators. You've actually partnered with chambers. You've built strategies to get closer. But what Thomas inferred in terms of the first ever advisory board convening, beginning to imagine how your local advisory boards become part of your sales force to achieve the opportunities that you imagine for every single one of your students, we think is the magic sauce that could really provide the breakthrough opportunity that will get you to 100% paid internships. So with that, let me transition to recognition. And, you know, in 2013, I believe it was, our chairman turned 80. He's amazing, as you know, for those of you who've met Sandy Weil. He doesn't age, which is very weird for somebody like me who keeps aging like really rapidly. But in 2013, on the occasion of his 80th birthday, we wanted to do something special. So we created an award that's called the Weil Award. And it was intended to really take into consideration the heart and guts of what Sandy saw when he built NAF. And it was this public-private partnership. And how do you then take that and look out into an audience of now a growing number of academies all over the country and pick just one? There are so many of you who have done so well. And so he applies Sandy's application of thought every year. And I have no idea what that application of thought is. But I know there are the essence of it, which is he's tried to keep it current with our priorities today and our current strategic plan. So he's thought about things like NAF track certification. He's thought about graduation rates and students going on to college. And the expectation that the Academy is actually focused on and committed to this notion of 100% internships, and has on their advisory board actual alumni, graduates who have come back and are now serving on the advisory board. So this is an academy this year, goes above and beyond, hits all those metrics, is a surprise to them, I believe. So please, join me in congratulating Clarence High School Academy of Finance is the Weil Award winner 2018. You gonna cry?
I think so.
Don't cry. It's a happy day. Thank you. Thank you. Give her a hand. Thank you. Yeah. Now, on to the rest of our program, which I'm really excited about, but also just a tad bit disappointed, and I'll explain. So, as you saw in some of the advertising we did for the event, we had gotten commitment from Dr. Clarence P Jones to join us. And unfortunately, he fell ill and was told by his doctor he's unable to travel. He's out of San Francisco, but an incredible human being. So I want to give you just a little taste of how important this gentleman has been to our past I think our present, and I think a compelling voice for our future. So think about this. So some of you weren't alive when some of this was happening, but it's important, I think, to remember our past, improve upon our goodwill as a country, and continue to worry on the things that we'd fallen behind on. So he may be, as NAF is the best kept secret in education, according to Sandy Weil, Clarence may in fact be the best kept secret of the civil rights movement. But his impact has had on our society is not a secret. He was integral to the planning of the 1963 March on Washington and the drafting of the Dr. Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. The intense preparation for both caused Dr. King and his family to move to Dr. Jones' New York home a month before the event that changed the course of our history. He was the actual person, the individual, who smuggled Dr. King's letter from Birmingham jail out of prison earlier that year. As a lawyer, as a counselor, and as a speechwriter to King, it was Dr. Jones who walked out of Chase Bank in New York City with a suitcase stuffed with $100,000 in bail money to secure the release of Dr. King. And as many other demonstrators as possible in Birmingham, a suitcase handed to him by Nelson and David Rockefeller in the bank's vault on Fifth Avenue. He had a front row seat during one of the most consequential times in our nation's history. He was and remains an active player. He is currently a scholar in residence at the Martin Luther King Jr. Institute at Stanford University and a professor at the University of San Francisco, where all of his efforts are focused on using education, to create a society based on values of racial equality and social justice. He sends his regrets that he could not be with all of us today, but shared some of the remarks he intended to give. Access to quality educational opportunity remains the major challenge of the 21st century. The education and knowledge base necessary to qualify for new employment opportunities will require unique skill sets to navigate the dramatic changes that have taken place in our nation's economy in the past 25 years. Your historical empirical record of ensuring that high school students in its programs are more college, career, and future ready than they would otherwise have been without NAF is indisputable. Be assured, NAF has now become part of my DNA. I encourage all of you to learn more about this remarkable man. Go and research him, call him up, Google him, look into what he has accomplished. His message is phenomenal, and his metrics, understanding when people talk about racism, and they talk about systemic racism, they fail often to look at it numerically in terms of the distribution of wealth, and the distribution of wealth and what it means to access to opportunity. He has done remarkable work in this area, and it makes for a profound motivation to really get this right and to continue the work that so long ago was started by Dr. King. So someone else who is here in person and for whom NAF has become part of her DNA as well is Ursula Burns. So Ursula, who I hope most of you know about, is on the board of directors of NAF, one of my favorite people in the world. The first and only black CEO of a major Fortune 500 company called Xerox. And when she was that, she joined the NAF board of directors and helped us launch the Academy of Engineering. Now making waves as chairwoman at Vion, she's a critical partner to our work and to our future and to the narrative about leadership, companies needing to lean in on the great work that you do every day with students that are high school. Remember, Ursula started as an intern at Xerox before she became the CEO. Please welcome Ursula Burns.